Hello, and welcome to Ambience, a series of conversations with the personalities behind the Sushitech label. My name is Ben Start, and I'm the Sushitech events manager and author of the Restart blog. And we're coming to you, as always, from Wood White Studios in Berlin. For our third edition, we called up Delano Smith in his Detroit home. Delano has been a key part of Sushitech for the past decade, releasing 3 albums and a host of killer singles. His debut album, in 2012, An Odyssey, is now seen as a Detroit house classic. And in the years since, Delano has been touring the world relentlessly. Much time has been spent on Delano's backstory and his rich heritage, which dates back to pioneering the art of DJing in the late 70s. But we wanted to bring things up to date and to take the temperature of the current music scene. So, without further ado, let's head over to the interview, and below the conversation, you'll hear some of Delano's era-defining music. How was 2020 for you? I mean, big changes, right?
Yeah, huge changes, man. It, everything came to a screeching halt, and it happened really quick too, screeching halt, through no fault of our own, you know what I mean? So it just forced to kind of try to stay, relevant in this thing the best way you can, Thanks to Yossi for putting out those 2 records, man. Those represses, just keep your name in the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you feel like in Detroit you're connected to Europe, or do you feel like a lot further from Europe than you did over the last kind of like 5 years?
Yeah, I feel a disconnect, a huge disconnect in a way, because when you're traveling back and forth over there with, some kind of regularity, you build relationships, and, you just get used to a rhythm, in your life, and the people that you, associate with, here and over there. And, it's just a huge disconnect, other than the music, and an occasional, WhatsApp chat or email, you really don't see your friends over there. It's my first time seeing you, man, in a couple of years. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, it takes these things sometimes to sort of make time for each other and like have these kind of chats and catch-ups, right?
Exactly, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you sort of came back and started touring again. You kind of built yourself up from very small clubs and up until the big clubs. You like met a lot of people along the way, right? Of
course, man. And then you get to, play with some of the people that you came up admiring, and then, a few years later, you're on the same ticket as they are. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful thing. I had a good run in 2012, 13, 14, 15. You remember,
Yeah, totally, man, totally.
You were doing those bookings, those early bookings.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're up to. But I mean, I was just wondering what it was like when you started rubbing shoulders with those guys. Like sort of going from playing like a Zukunft, which was like 400 people, but you're the main deal. You're the big headliner, and then suddenly you're on the lineup with these like kind of these bigger guys, these Detroit kind of heroes,
For one, it was, humbling. It was kind of, the new popularity kind of, it was good. It was great. I loved it. Still do. You meet the people that you bought their records for years, and you've seen them play. When you were on the floor, now you're playing with them. I was definitely living my dream there, man. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, Yossi and I were talking earlier on about how the Sushitech back catalogue and all the music that's already out there, it's not going anywhere. It's classic stuff.
Of course, yeah. It's timeless to it. It's you could tell Sushitech stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, as long as there's a dark room and a decent sound system, then that music is gonna find a home, I think.
Exactly.
And,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, and yours as well. I mean, kind of that's the sort of collaboration between you and Yossi to really sort of find that sound, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's I do different things with Yossi though than I would do on my own. You know what I mean? The stuff I produce with Yossi, it's different than anything else I do, and I like that. You know what I mean? He brings out something different in me. You know what I mean? So, and I like it.
Find it more of a kind of tougher, techier kind of side. So you're kind of like back in the world of work for the first time since kind of 2008, 2009?
Yeah, it was about 2008, I think it was, when I started, really, I think 2000, was it 2008? No, I think it was 2006 with the early mix mode stuff, with the early mix mode stuff and the early third year stuff is, when it all started to, kind of happen for me, I think. Around that time, especially after the third year tracks, things started to pick up. I started to get calls and stuff.
Yeah. Did you have a job back then, or then you quit it to tour?
Yeah, I had a job back then. I had a job, and what's funny is that I was working for the auto industry.
Yeah, classic Detroit.
And, when the auto industry, yeah, exactly. And when that crashed, this picked right up for me, you know what I'm saying? And since then I've been, I've just been an artist since about 2007 until now.
Yeah.
I haven't had to have a job. This has been my full-time job,
Yeah, without sort of getting too far into the politics, it's kind of your career, like so far, has almost been like bookended by like 2007 had the sort of like global Great Recession, and then now it's COVID, it's like, and in that time you sort of did your thing, which is, I mean, that's interesting, man. I was thinking, for someone in Europe, they can just get on a 2-hour flight and go anywhere, go to Paris, go to Berlin, and they know all the, they know all the clubs, they know all the, like, probably where to eat and everything. But for someone from the US, just sort of taking that huge leap to quit your job and come and start touring, man, I mean, like, that's brave.
Well, I mean, I was fortunate, bro. I was very fortunate. I was very lucky in that people, liked what I was doing. A lot of people kind of, once we started letting people know, like a little bit about my background and everything, it's like, oh, this guy's been around for a while, You know what I mean? I'm not really new to this, so. And I think that that kind of drove an interest as well. My association with a lot of other, well-known Detroit artists and stuff like that kind of, people giving me, the Godfathers, giving me their blessing, publicly and stuff, kind of like, hey, who's this guy again? You know what I mean? Yep. So, I was lucky and very fortunate in that regard. I mean, I don't think that could have happened for for just anyone from here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because,
You know,
I mean, before you kind of made a name for yourself, everyone, like, all the books written about house and techno say it started with these guys, Kevin, Derek, Juan, and then you turn up and you're like, well, I was here before.
right. I was there before all of that. Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, because it's so interesting the way people just in Europe, they take this story and they have all these assumptions about what's going on. And was there anyone that you ever had to like kind of really didn't get it and you had to kind of explain yourself?
Of course, because everyone think it started with you know who.
Yeah, totally.
But they drew their inspiration from somewhere. You know what I mean? And we were playing when they were, on the dance floor. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And so they drew their inspiration, from somewhere. And I'm not gonna say who they did. I can only go by history and what I saw, and how I saw everything, come to be from nothing, from no such thing as house, no such thing as disco. I kind of saw all of this evolve, from its inception. So
yeah, absolutely.
And then to even in my own city to gain the popularity that I did when I was very young. And so I know I had an impression on other young guys too, that so I was like, damn, that shit is cool to DJ in the mix and stuff like that. So I know I was inspirational to some people that that are DJs now. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, totally. And sort of now in 2021, 2020, with no events at all, and I think it really, really kind of brings home that the importance of what has actually happened in the last 30, 40 years almost.
Well, yeah, you kind of put things in perspective, because you're not, you're listening to music, differently now. You know what I mean? You're listening to it, you're not in the club, and you're getting all of your music from the internet and from streams, and from, the shops and stuff like that. But for the normal clubber, the person that's not a DJ, just, how are they getting this?
Absolutely. That mystery.
How is it being interpreted to them now? That's why I think a lot of the guys are streaming now, so people can kind of associate, the music with the DJ, and seeing them work up close. I think that's the appeal of it now, and it still has appeal. I think it still has great appeal, but after a while, it's like after a couple of them, I feel like kind of like there's nobody here. I'm playing on a camera, man. It's like there's a disconnect there, huge disconnect with how you play, in front of people versus playing virtually. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I mean, I was going to sort of, obviously when you started touring more in Europe, you had to adapt your game, Of course. You really had to not change your style, but you had to find a way to do you, but that was, you know, more easier for Europeans to understand.
Exactly, right.
And I guess there's a way to do that for live streaming, but no one's really sort of worked out how to do that yet.
You know, on a stream, I know I play different than I would in front of people, you know, in front of a crowd now. It's like now I'm playing more from, you know, more of the stuff I like because I'm at home, I'm relaxed. You know, I'm playing more chill kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know if I'm even shopping different now. You know what I mean? You know, because I'm still buying, you know, records. I'm still buying music. And I'm even shopping differently than I would if I was traveling, at home I don't play as much. I used to come off a tour, man, bang out 2 or 3 tracks. For a few days I'm home, then I'm back out again on that Thursday. You know what I mean? I was really, really into the music. Now it's like, when I feel like it. You know what I mean? And it's like the inspiration that was then, it's not the same kind of inspiration now.
You have so much momentum, and like you said, you come back from tour, you're really inspired, straight in the studio, and now the pace of life is so much slower.
Exactly. And then, dude, I have a job now, and it's, I come home from work, bro, and I'm like, dude, I'm not feeling this right now. Turn on the TV, get something to eat, and go to bed. But then I have a stretch of days too, though, when when I'm feeling it. I just finished my next mix mode EP just a couple days ago. Came home this was like last week, banged out. I was already working on some stuff. Just change the direction on some things, man. I was feeling it for about 4 or 5 days, and then it's like boom, then it leaves. I'm glad I got that finished when I was feeling it. I'm just gonna leave it alone and then just put it out. But Yossi and I are working on some things, so that's the next thing I'll really be touching. And
it's good to know. Yeah, some people still seem to have been able to just bang out stuff. I was thinking, like Omar S, Moody Man, and Theo all put out albums last year, and they all just sound exactly like their sound, and those guys don't seem to have been touched in terms of the studio, do they?
Well, I don't know, because I really don't know how Kenny and Theo work, but I have an idea at how Alex works. And it's kind of hard to say, because the way they produce tracks, everything's on the machine. And it's like, once they get something going, okay, let's arrange it, mix it, and put it out. That's it. It's done. You know what I mean? They'll start something, it's like, dude, that's it. Let's go, boom, track's finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how would you describe your own process?
No, I plan a little bit. You know what I mean? I just don't I'm not gonna say they do this. I'm not sure. I just don't start putting random things together and try to find a groove out of it. I don't do that. I try to write everything, from scratch, in how I hear it in my head. I try to write it from there. I try to decide, what type of, mood I want the track to relay. And, I just go from there. I go, just what's in my head. And I try to, not much of a musician, but, I try to, put, pen to paper.
Yeah. Obviously, Yossi repressed an Odyssey a few months ago. And
I know, man. I listened to it, dude. I was like, I can't believe we did that. It took us a while to work on that, too, man. It took us we were going back and forth on stuff, man. Dude, I was cussing Yossi the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the projects that we did, that was the hardest one for us to gel on, you know what I mean? The last one, the Lost Tape album was the easiest. We did that like no problem. But the first two, dude, the first one, no, it was. But I like the result of the first one. I wish that I could have did some things differently on it. I wish that my skill in mixing was better than it, and that's about the only thing. And a couple of other tracks I would have did differently when I went back and listened to it, because until Yossi re-released it, I didn't really listen to it. I haven't listened to it in like in years. But then when he re-released it, I was like, let me listen to this again. I'm like, wow, that stuff I'm really proud of.
Yeah. No, it's. I think I listened to it quite recently as well, and it really, really did take me back to a certain time. Yeah, that's around about.
Exactly right. Right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you'd be super, super proud of it. But so, what would you change? You said you changed the mix down.
Yeah, that's what I would definitely change the mix and the arrangement on a couple of the tracks. But for the most part, I definitely would have zeroed in on elements in the mix on that. You know what I mean? Especially with the kick and the bass and the wideness of it, everything. I just would have. Now would be so much better. You know what I mean? But what I know now, it would be so much better. But that was my, we didn't have the year that we have now. Then we did. Well, I didn't, and I didn't have the tools that I have now to really make a track come alive.
Yeah, I mean, you were shooting off to Europe every 2 weeks.
Exactly, that too, right?
But some of the tracks, some of the tracks were a bit older though, right? They're like sort of mid noughties, sort of 2007, 2008.
Yeah, I've been working on for even before that. Yeah, we just kind of brought stuff to life. You know what I mean? But how many tracks are on that? That's about 12 tracks, 13 tracks on that. Yeah, 12. Dude, that's a lot of music.
It is a lot.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of music for an album to make everything sound different and unique, and you know what I mean, and and I think we did a wide range of stuff on that. A lot of different types of house and techno. Man, some ambient stuff, soulful stuff. You know what I mean? Just. We did a lot of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's tracks that stand out on their own, kind of like Midnight Hours, I Feel This, and then there's tracks that just kind of glue it all together.
Yeah. But to Feel This, I think to Feel This and the Midnight Hours, because Yossi put out that Midnight Hours like as a black, just on a black label that just said Midnight Hours. And Derek May was playing it, you know what I mean? And then when we put it on the album, we never told anyone that was me until it came out on the album. It's like, that's that track. I was like, yeah.
Yossi said that's because he's a genius. But
right, yeah.
Like I love that. It's such a human side of things to kind of pique someone's curiosity.
Exactly, right, yeah.
And then
and no one ever knew what that track was. Derek was playing it. Derek didn't even know.
Yeah, totally.
He didn't even know that was me. You know what I mean? So
totally. And then you have the big reveal at the end. And
you're the one that blew that track up, man.
Totally, man, totally. After An Odyssey came Twilight.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. But see, and the thing about it, I don't think the second one didn't, an artist puts out an album, the first album, it's great. Then the second one, oh my God, it's even better.
Yeah.
This wasn't like that.
You never know how people perceive it as well, because, I mean, I sort of saw it as a very daring kind of step towards a different type of music that...
Right.
More instrumental, more original, what some people would call a bit more kind of like sophisticated music,
Right.
And yeah, that's some people's perceptions, especially in Europe, that you have to do serious music to be taken seriously, surprisingly enough.
Of course, and to play certain types of clubs. And to appeal to a certain crowd, to a certain type of promoter, the kind of clubs and the kind of music you want to play.
I mean, this kind of current moment really brings that into focus. It's kind of like, oh, okay, I need to be taken seriously. I need to play serious music to get bookings in these serious clubs. And now they're empty. You know, it doesn't matter how serious your music is, or
exactly. You know, because ain't nobody getting no gig. And dude, right before I was about to leave, I had like 4 or 5 really good ones lined up.
Yeah.
Man. And then we started hearing the news that this thing was coming. And I was like, oh, please let it happen, you know, when I leave. Please let it happen, you know, after I leave or whatever.
Or please let it happen somewhere else.
That wasn't the case.
Yeah, no, it was strange. I mean, it was kind of like watching like the waves creep up to your place on the beach. You know, like you're...
Exactly,
right. Yeah, it's really nice and comfortable here, and like, oh, the sea's getting a bit closer and a bit closer and a bit closer. Oh God, it's here. Very,
exactly.
Very, very strange time. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, it does. It gives us a lot of time to really sort of, reflect and put everything in perspective. Which, I mean, it's always, I mean, what I was gonna say, like, in the time from when you started to, you know, up until this time last year, what was something in the DJing world that always stayed the same? You know, like, even fashions come, fashions go, but what was always there, you know, apart from, you know, drugs? But
okay, I'll say that. I'll say this: the camaraderie, and from your DJ peers across every city I went to throughout the world, bro.
Yeah.
There's always this camaraderie and this level of respect.
I love that.
You know, everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere you go. Even like with some people, you don't think that they would be, you know, say, oh, he's probably a snob. You know, turns out to be the coolest guy. You know what I mean, dude?
Got you. Yeah.
I play so many places, man, and then for these guys to know your name, although they pronounce it different, say, "Hey, Delano." It's like,
Delano.
Actually, bro, it's Delano. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, hanging out with like Carrie Chandler, and meeting and having a conversation with like Louis Vega. You know, see Marcel Detman, and he knows your name, and he give you a pound, shake your hand. You know. Who else? Lot of the big name European guys would tell you they have all your records and stuff like this. Just the camaraderie, you know, across the board, and the love for each other. It's like, dude, you know, I'm not your competition. You know, we're all doing this together, man. That there, I found to be consistent. You know, throughout. You know, even when I first started touring, man, that's always been consistent.
You found that was similar to when you were playing your first records in clubs when you're younger. You still had that camaraderie, even though it wasn't so international.
Exactly. Like here, you know, I think in every city, probably except for one, but in every city, there's this level of camaraderie amongst the DJ community, and to see that on an international scale and to be a part of it on an international scale was and then for everybody to know you and you know them, and you know they're, you know, it's a beautiful thing, but now it's gone.
It'll come back, man. It'll come back.
Well, it's gone. I know it's gone for now, but it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, and the one thing that the States is missing now, that Europe still has, is that record shop. Because back in the day, you know, in the 90s, dude, the record shops here, the ones that Huck, you know, worked at, rest in peace, Rick, all these guys, all these DJs, Theo and Seth Troxler, when he was at Melodies and Memories, you know, everybody worked in these shops and there was a community.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the record shop on a Thursday, that's when everything come in, you see everybody, man. And you know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful thing. There was no social media then because we could take pictures with everybody, you know, showing
totally.
it.
Yeah.
I was at the shop today and everybody showing their records on that thing. I bought mine.
Yeah.
I got heat showing vinyl, you know.
Yeah,
back then, you know, it was a trip. And how back then vinyl wasn't shit, you know, because it's what we played on. But now, somebody buy a record, man, they got to post it. It's like, think about that.
Yeah, totally.
Records, it's like, why are you making a big deal about records?
Yeah, no, that's...
Don't get me wrong, man. We all love vinyl and everything, but I'm saying the level of respect for vinyl now is far different than it was back then. You know, don't get me wrong, we cherish records back then, but the level of respect for vinyl now is, dude, it's like people think it's like they wear it as a badge of honor to post, you know, what they bought on, what they got in the mail, man. It's like, that's cool, bro. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, you've got the records, maybe listen to it halfway through and then it goes onto the shelf and is never seen again.
Right, well, it won't be seen again until you get a gig.
Did you feel like the more you toured and the more you connected with people in Europe, that people in Europe became more aware of what was actually going on in the States and in Detroit? And
no, I wouldn't say that at all. All depends. If you play like if you play like Kenny or Theo, you'll get more of a connection to what it's like to you know on the Detroit tip, on that vibe. You know what I'm saying? Because Carl and Derek, they don't play here that much.
Yeah.
But none of them do. But you know, everybody's more receptive to. I think the more soulful older crowd, you know, they're more receptive to Kenny because you know he'll play everything. You know, versus you're going in and you're hearing just one thing all night, just all techno, just one thing. Where Kenny and Theo, well, you know, they'll break it up. You know, they'll play techno, you know, some old 70s, you know, soul shit, come back to this, and, you know, it's entertaining, you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they kind of think that Detroit is just like swarming with clubs and DJs and everyone's going out and listening to this house music all the time.
You know, it really never was that. In Detroit, there's probably been like no more than about 5 things going on at one time. You know what I'm saying? And there's periods in it. You know what I'm saying? There's the Ken period, then there's when we were playing, and then the Music Institute, and Derek, and then Richie, and then you know what I'm saying, and then DMF, and you know, now we're here. You know. Yeah,
you mentioned Mike just now. God rest his soul. You want to talk about him a bit?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, you'd have known him, you'd probably picked up quite a lot of records off him, I guess.
Of course, for us all, man. Yeah, he was the buyer at the #1, you know, dance music record store in Detroit. And he pulled records for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he sold records. He broke records there, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then he, you know, a lot of Detroit stuff, man. When the early producers were producing, they was rolling that stuff out of there. They ran, you know, his label, the Deep Transportation, up out of there, man. Everything. Rick Wade sold a bunch of stuff out of there. Mike sold a bunch of stuff out of there. Norm sold a bunch of stuff out of there. Kenny, Theo, dude. Everybody sold a bunch of records up out of there, and everybody went there. It was the only store. Well, it was Buy Right first, and then when Record Time came, you know, I think a lot of the people started going over to Record Time, but a lot of people was still shopping at Buy Right too. The store Melodies and Memories that was down the street from Record Time. They were just okay, but Record Time, Huck knew what to get, you know. it was definitely a DJ's record store. It definitely was that. He ran that
Yeah,
beautifully.
very much a kind of community center.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that like a place you'd hang out?
Yeah, we hung out there every weekend. Yeah. Well, every Thursday, sometimes Thursday and Saturday, or Thursday and Friday, But Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday was the day to go.
Yeah. You mentioned like some of the kind of like younger Detroit kind of community members, like Seth, for example. I heard stories about there was one of the record shops that he used to hang out at quite a lot as well, and kind of connect with the older guys.
Yeah, Seth was working at Melodies and Memories in like 98, 99. And he was a kid then.
Yeah.
He was like just a kid, man. Yeah, and now look at him.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. He's definitely a grown up.
I feel you, bro. I feel you.
How about
it's all good.
kind of like Kyle Hall, Jay Daniel?
I just met them, when they were on their way up. I was touring when they were, when they came up. So I really, I don't really know how they came up. I think Theo put Kyle's first record up, maybe.
Yeah, I think he put maybe Jay Daniels.
Yeah, Jay Daniel, yeah. But and I know Kyle came up with Huck over at the community center. That's about all I know about those guys. I don't really, although I like their music, I follow their music, I buy their music, but I'm not really, connected to those guys. I got much respect for both of them. Young guys for, carrying the torch. You know what I mean? Because when we're gone, they'll still be here. They're still in their, 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, Kyle came through at the same time as you, even though he's a lot younger. I mean...
Right.
I remember seeing him play in London when he was like 18, and he was, super young. So he came up with Huck. I didn't know that.
Yeah, over at the youth center, I think Huck was showing him how to work the SP and
right.
Oh, God. Stuff like that,
Yeah.
Because I know they do a lot of this stuff on that sampler, I think. Well, it sounds like they do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's really interesting about Huckabee as well. Like, just what a sort of, what an influence on so many people.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Just before he passed, people were starting to really sort of take notice of the work that he did in the community with this like Youthville project. Is that something that you see anything coming out of, like musically?
Well, I think that the last product of that was probably Kyle. That came out of that program and everything. I'm not aware of any youngsters that came up under Huck that has reached a notoriety as Kyle. So, and I think he had a lot to do with his with his early schooling,
with his development. Yeah, kind of showed him the ropes. Yeah, I mean that Detroit kind of like lineage of producers and DJs. Do you, like, Kyle and Jay are obviously the kind of the future of that. Do you see anything past that?
I see guys that were doing it even then, back in the 90s, like Santonio, Eddie. People are starting to put out different kind of sounds now. You know what I mean. So I think these old guys are coming. Gary Romalis, he's been around for a while, and of course Omar, and there's Leonard Strickland. He has I forgot his kid's name, but dude, his tracks are just freaking phenomenal. Gary Romalis. There's another they could have got on. You know what I'm saying? Like, this year could have been the year. You know what I'm saying? Being invited, everybody. You know what I'm saying? With this is gonna set everything back. You know what I mean? For another 3, 4, 5 years, because even when it does come back, man, it's going to come back slow.
So, I mean, but you did have 10 years of kind of taking in Europe. And I feel that America and Europe were kind of converging with Obama, and then Trump comes along and it just comes chaos, you know, like Europeans and Americans, like, yeah, we thought we were kind of starting to really understand each other, but now it's like, nope, don't get you guys at all.
He just put a wall up, man, and you know, he just really kind of divided and isolated us, you know. And then with COVID, you know, we're even more isolated now. You know what I mean? We're the biggest mess of it all. It's political. It's, you know, the most deaths, and you know, you got a guy here that's trying to take over the freaking world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a mess over here, man. It's like, dude, fuck them. Leave. You guys stay over there. You know, you guys stay the hell over there, dude. Seriously.
I mean, you and all of your peers, you know, like, you came over and you sat at restaurant tables with us and were like full-on ambassadors, and, you know, like, did your country proud, you know? And like, this guy comes along and just completely fucks it all up.
Yep.
Yeah,
dude,
it's
yeah, but I'm so glad that it's almost over. You know, I'm so glad that it's almost over. We'll see on the 20th. I hope that nothing happens at the inauguration, and I hope that, you know, we can come out of this, man, looking better than we did it, you know, yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And I just hope that we can, you know, we could just get through this, man, and then get people vaccinated, and, you know, we can, you know, get this pandemic, you know, behind us. You know, it's going to take a couple years for this. I'm telling you, man, pandemics just like this just don't go away. You know, this is going to be a long process getting things back up. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, dude, what's going to happen to the scene? A lot of people are going to be 3 years older then. You know what I mean? Right in the prime of some people's clubbing age. And, you know, it's snatched away. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, you know. And I don't know if we're able to, you know, garner a new audience with streaming. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you're trying to sustain the one that we have. You know what I mean?
I think that over here, you know, like, we do appreciate the work and, like, just, you know, like, the personalities that you guys brought, you know, like how well you represented when you were over here, and it was always like an absolute pleasure to, like, sort of hang out and hear you play and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it was hectic times, you know, like in Europe, like one night you'd be playing at Fabric and the next you'd be like hurtling down a street in Bucharest.
Some parts of it I miss, some I don't.
I bet you don't miss those roads in Romania.
I told you about that, dude. That I don't miss. I don't miss almost flying off a cliff. Yeah, I don't miss that. But a guy that can't drive. Yeah, I don't miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't miss having to play a set, and then my flight is in 2 hours and you have to go right. I don't miss that. I don't miss Charles de Gaulle. I don't miss there's a lot of stuff I don't miss about it. I don't miss drivers being late. I don't miss you know what I'm saying? A lot of little stuff I don't miss, but a lot of stuff I do. I miss seeing you guys, man. I miss the feeling of, you know, just walking in the club, man, and, you know, you feeling it, they feeling it is packed, and you know, you just have a good set, everybody's having a good time, you're meeting cool people, man, you're playing with your friends, and, you know, the people that you admire and stuff, man, you know, I miss that.
Yeah,
really
that buzz when you kind of walk into a room and, yeah, you know that something really special is going to happen, and you can feel it.
Exactly right. Yeah.
You can, yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's feeling good. Everybody's buzz is right there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait for that to come back. Bro, really nice to talk to you. And
you too, Ben, man.
Yeah.
Good seeing you too, man. Good seeing both you guys.
Pleasure. Let's do it again sometime.
All right, fellas.
Take it easy, man.
All right,
have a good
take care
day.
now.
Lots
All
of
right,
love.
man. Okay,
Ciao.
you too.
Ciao.
Peace.
Many thanks to Delano there. A true Detroit legend and full-on gentleman. It's really great to connect with him after so long. I hope you heard that. I hope that came through. Loved hearing about his perspectives on the current moment, his touring in Europe, and of course, creative processes. So, until next time, this was Ambience, part of the Sushitech Elements series.